So everybody is aware of the presentation that just happened, and honestly, I just think that went about as well as it could have. Now everybody's going to say what they're going to say. That's not going to change. Ole Miss could have hired Gandhi, and there would have been 15 think pieces tomorrow. But as far as it
You know,
actually going on, it went about as well as it could have. What's up, Tom?
I remember when Auburn hired Bruce Pearl,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a lot of smack about that. And you know, Chris, Coach Beard, he he's a very good coach. His girlfriend said the things were not true. We don't know for sure, but I do know one thing that I noticed that some key pieces of our basketball team that are in the portal, uh, they were at the press conference, and I don't know how many of y'all saw the press conference, but I will say this. Uh, I'd run through a wall for that guy, and I just heard him one time. So I think he kicked it. He hit it out of the park. I just hope that the stuff that everybody says is untrue really is untrue, and we can just go forward. But when you look at some of the coaches that have been hired recently in the SEC, when you look at Petrino and you look at Bruce Pearl a few years ago, and there are others as well. Hugh Freeze. Um, they're a lot of these schools don't have any room to talk.
Yeah, absolutely. The funny thing is, and like people that was feigning outrage when Hugh Freeze got hired, or feigning outrage when Bruce Pearl got hired. It's just become so predictable over and over again. It's just like, hey, here's our talking points of how we're going to be upset whenever they hire this coach. Because at the end of the day, this is incredibly sad that it's gotten that way. That the actual thing that they're upset about, that could be a completely valid thing, is not the reason they're doing it. And that kind of bothers me a little bit. But
They're upset because we may be this coach could make us relevant.
yes, and the SEC just got a whole lot harder. There's no way anybody can say the SEC did not just get a whole lot harder. I mean, yeah. Kara, what channel was the game on?
It's on ESPN Plus because they're not at home.
Okay.
Is it still 0-0?
3-3. Or hold on, I walked away. Arkansas State 3-3, and it's bases loaded with no outs. So we're doing real great. We're not
Well,
bad.
it's one of those situations where I think where TJ Quinn, and we talked to Derek Vandegrift recently, but TJ Quinn moving to off of this midweek start means that he is going to be earmarked for a nice role this weekend. We'll have that when the preview gets released tomorrow. And I just posted a 20-minute video that will be live in about an hour and a half of Tim Thomas talking about the presentation that just happened. So we have all of Tim Thomas, former player, talking about how he feels about everything that's going on. He actually mentioned that during the presentation that he almost shed a tear because this is like he honestly the first time that he can remember that Ole Miss has taken basketball seriously. And this is a former player saying that. Thought that was interesting. So, hey,
One
Kardic's in here. I'm gonna invite Kardik to speak. Hadn't talked to Kardik in a while. Kartik is one of my old soccer buddies. He also toiled in the lower leagues of U.S. professional soccer, so I know him that way. How you doing, Kartik?
I'm doing great, Stephen, and really excited for you guys about this hiring. I mean, this is epic for Ole Miss. I mean, this is the level of coach that you need to compete in the SEC these days, and the level of coach that I think Ole Miss and similarly some other SEC schools have never been able to attract. Right? I mean, this is a big time for you guys.
Yeah, this is going to be pretty amazing. And he mentioned in the presentation today that it's his plan basically to be in the NCAA tournament next year. And honestly, if you look at his record in his first year stops, I mean, it's 30 wins at Little Rock, it's 18 wins at Texas Tech, it's 22 at Texas. I mean, you'd be crazy to doubt him, honestly.
Yeah, at Texas Tech, they got good really quickly,
Mhm.
and saw them in the NCAA tournament against the Gators. For those of you who don't know, I'm a UF grad. I also am a Miami fan, so I'm conflicted there. Obviously, in-state rivalry, but actually, his the example of Miami is really good because what Beard did at Texas Tech and at Texas he did in kind of a non-NIL era. What we've seen happen with Miami last year is Miami goes to the Elite Eight with a senior heavy team. They lose four of those guys. They come back this year and win the ACC regular season because they dipped into the transfer portal and pulled three guys out of there. So that's something I think Beard will be able to do for Ole Miss this year. And I thought potentially Mike White uh, was going to stay at Florida and wait for Kermit Davis to get sacked at Ole Miss, and would have had this job. So it actually worked out really well because with him as a former Ole Miss player, um, there might have been some inclination to go for him. But it worked out that he took the Georgia job last year. And I knew he wanted to get out of Gainesville. I know people in his family talk to them fairly regularly. He wanted to get out of Florida, out of UF. This worked out great. The whole Beard situation in Texas, and Ole Miss's ability to attract him.
Yeah, it's fantastic, honestly. Yeah, I still can't. I never will get over the fact that you're a Miami fan but a Florida grad. That never ceases to surprise me when I hear that. It, and maybe it's the fact that I live down here now, and you just see so much orange and blue everywhere, and then just every now and then you see the Miami tag, and that's Central Florida. It's not like I'm like up in the Panhandle.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm still a Gator. Also, it's just that what happened is I moved back to South Florida, and you're a college sports fan, and you go to games. And yeah, I actually lived in Tallahassee for a while, and that line I wouldn't cross. I wouldn't become a Florida State fan. But you're used to going to college football and college basketball games in Gainesville. I moved to South Florida as soon as I'm out of college, and I then go to Miami games. It just was kind of very natural, and it happened at a time when they were not playing against one another in those two sports for various reasons, disputes between the athletic department. So it became very simple, very strange, but very simple. And I'm actually not the only one. I know a couple other Florida grads who are Miami fans also, and we justify it by saying, well, one school's in the ACC, the other's in the SEC, so we can kind of like both.
Yeah, and they don't play very often.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I'm watching the Ole Miss baseball game right now, and Jacksonville State is like 6-3. Of course, like I said, I talk about the pitching that's going on, but midweek, it appears that Ole Miss has run into a little bit of a buzzsaw in this game. So, Kardik, real quick, what's do you follow spring training, Major League Baseball down there?
Yeah, to a small extent. Not. I mean, not really, to be honest with you, because it's March and there's college basketball. Obviously, you mentioned my soccer stuff that goes year round, and then it's also like a big month on the PGA Tour. Um, and we just had the Players Championship last week, just up the road from you in Ponte Vedra. Bay Hill was last week. It's right by you. So I kind of like March is a very golf month in Florida for some reason. Honda Classic was 2 weeks ago, which is my local event.
Okay. Oh, so you're down there by like the Astros and the Mets, right?
Yes.
Okay. We have somebody on the line that has Astros in her handle. Go ahead, Kara.
Oh yeah, you're kissing me.
No, they
Oh,
moved.
she
They're
doesn't.
down. He's down in Fort
They moved.
Lauderdale. They've moved from Kissimmee.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh. I thought they were still in Kissimmee. There, I've always wanted to go to spring training. I've not made the trip yet, but I've always wanted to experience it.
Yeah. The funny thing is, the Tigers played the Rays and they played it in Tropicana. It was like, no, you got to play it in like a minor league park if spring training is going to be like anything.
The best
So,
place, if you don't mind me interjecting, to go watch a spring training game is at the Fenway South Park in Fort Myers because they have the dimensions of Fenway perfect, and the way they've set up the stands, small and intimate, but also kind of like Fenway. It's really an incredible place to watch a game.
yeah, they had their own monster.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
right.
they've got a green monster. Yeah, I mean the whole 9 yards. Yeah, and for the longest time, for like 30 years, the Red Sox were in my town, and now our town has no spring training. But until about 2008, it was either them or the Indians.
And the Royals were right by you too, in the defunct town of Baseball City, which is just up the road from you.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
yeah, they were there for several years. I saw them play in spring training there. I think a couple of times before they knocked down the amusement park and then they knocked down the stadium. And I've not. I think it's a shopping mall now.
I've driven by the sign that said Baseball City, and I was like, oh, well, that must be interesting. But yeah, it should be pretty cool. But you know, between the baseball game not going well for Ole Miss and the excitement behind the Chris Beard hire, and you're going to go through about 24 hours of think pieces, and everybody's going to sit down and try and, I guess, morally break down their assumptions of what all has happened. And if you're an Ole Miss fan, I would stay off the internet for 12 hours, um, just honestly. But after the NCAA tournament starts, it's going to go away. It's just going to be like the Hugh Freeze thing, honestly. And by the way, if you look at my broadcast, if you watch my videos, you'll see a picture of Hugh Freeze, and that is a gift from the Locked On Auburn site, who sent me an autographed picture of Hugh Freeze wearing Ole Miss clothing. So I do have that displayed on my set. So what do you got, Care? What do you want to talk about?
Oh man, I'm
You want to talk about Coach O?
getting through these, getting through these pitching woes, man. The growing pains is rough. It's painful.
Yeah, I hate these turf mounds. I just don't. This whole thing is a turf field. I mean, I guess this is a good fit for Vanderbilt because Vanderbilt has the same thing. So maybe this is like just getting people ready for Hawkins Field. Maybe that's why they scheduled this.
Yeah, I just think in general some of our pitching needs some definite, you know, we're missing those that are injured right now, but it is Tuesday, so
Will Furnace is batting right now, and if y'all have seen the movie Blended, the Adam Sandler movie, there's a whole thing where he teaches the kid how to bat using a cricket paddle and all that, and down in South Africa. But that's not important. The important part is he tells the kid to psych out the pitcher and give him basically the stink face, and Will Furnace does that exact same thing. To where he curls his lip and is like snarls at the pitcher, and every time he bats, I laugh because I think about that.
but yeah, I'm always down to talk some yo. Oh man. Did you see they posted a shout out to her? Oh, that was neat. In the nest.
I'm Coach O needs to win. She needs to beat Gonzaga. and not anything like she's on the hot seat or anything like that. It's just time. Everybody is rooting for her so much to pull off the win in that game because they were a 7 seed last year, even though they had a I don't know, a worse team. They weren't as good as they were this year, in my opinion. But they got that draw against South Dakota, and they ran into a team that shot all the threes, and that was interesting. They need to take care of Gonzaga, and if they do that, you will see the round of 13. Kind of the pressure will flow off of them, and it might even be able to be a position to where Ole Miss makes a run to the 16 or the 8. And I mean, we'll see what the Lady Rebels do.
Makes sense.
And we
That
have a
tracks.
great defense. If we can get our shots going, if Ada Baker can get going, and sorry, my mind's going blank right now because I'm watching the game and not paying attention. But I just got hit right in the ankle. But anyway, I think for the girls, if they can get their shots going, and we have to commit less fouls. We can't be doing a lot of fouls out there. Those have been hurting us. Um, Otherwise, I mean, we have such a great defensive game to keep us just enough in it that if we keep a well enough margin in between, we could win still, even if we're down.
Yeah, yeah. It's a situation to where Ole Miss is not on the level of South Carolina, and probably not on the level of LSU, but they're probably pretty firmly in that level just below them. I would put them in the same category as Tennessee.
Well, and I think getting a tournament win also helps in recruitment, right? Making sure we get those wins, especially if we're going for girls that may be on the fence with other schools that we want to bring in. That tournament win changes things.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's go ahead and cut this space a little bit short. I do want to thank everybody for stopping by. You got a video from Tim Thomas, a former player, about 20 minutes on the Chris Beard presentation. That's going to go live at 9 Eastern, 8 Central, something like that. And that'll be interesting to see. And tomorrow's show basically is talking about where the top 3 coaches, and it's not anything where I'm leaving Coach O out. It's just whenever people say the big 3, they say the big 3. So we talk about that, and we actually mentioned Coach O in that as well. But we talk about where they rank in the Southeastern Conference. We talk about where Keith Carter should rank in the Ole Miss athletic pantheon of athletic directors, and whether or not Ole Miss needs to worry about somebody coming after him soon. And we also have Derek Vandegrift giving
About
a
2 minutes,
preview
buddy.
of the Vanderbilt
About 2
series. We
minutes.
got a lot of stuff coming at you. Thursday, I've got jury duty, so that's going to mess up my routine. It's going to mess up my routine, and there's going to be a day when there's not videos up because my routine is gone, and I'm such a stickler for that routine. It is ridiculous. But we're going to do exactly what we can. Oh, Isaac Shade, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. He's one of the hosts
Just
of
a
Locked On
second.
College
I
Basketball.
hear you. You and your dang
Going to
oars a
interview
tail.
him tomorrow,
Yeah.
so probably for Thursday's show. We'll see how that goes as well. But we got all that set up. We got John Garcia Saturday. We got Kara. We're going to interview and release her on Sunday. Everybody seems to be watching that pretty well, but that just may be because Kara's really good. But I'm kind of happy with her on Sunday at the moment. So we'll see exactly how it goes. I'm pretty fired up, and thank you guys very much for tuning into this space. And if you want to listen to the replay, it'll be up on the YouTube channel, either Thursday or Friday, and you can check exactly how it went for the last 20 minutes or so. So for Kara, for Tom, and again, Tom, welcome back, buddy. Thank you so much.
Welcome back, Tom.
Yeah.
Thank y'all very
Good to
much.
have you back.
And Kartik, thank you very much for speaking up.
Thank you.
And we will talk to you guys. We'll do another space next Tuesday. So take care. Hotty toddy.
Howdy,
All right.
Toddy.